published a book which became Amazon bestseller, got a letter from Prime Minister Narendra Modi, got a letter from Narayan Murthy. Also, we got a call from Sachin Tendulkar's office. Building a culture. I think it's a very heavy word, but I would say that inculcating the habits, a simple habit like daily reporting.
Right.
If I have 55 people working for me, if they're sending me daily reports, I can understand to habituate them to send me daily reports itself is a task in itself, right? It may
Right.
take 1 month, 1 or 2 months to just get that habit in place. Forming such 100 habits creates a whole culture in itself, right? And that really smoothens and frees up the founder.
Change is never easy. So, can you tell us some of the challenges and how you overcame those challenges while implementing or while inculcating some of these habits?
You are asking me my business secret. The biggest business secret is weekly review meetings.
Good afternoon and welcome everybody for the 39th episode of Business Networking with Vipul Bondal podcast on Thinkly Talks. One of the questions which a lot of people ask me is, do you know all these people that you invite on your show very well? Are they your friends? And so on. So that's one common question which I keep getting asked by a lot of people. And my answer to them is yes, they're all my friends. In fact, very good friends. Many of them are friends whom I can maybe call even at 2 in the morning and they'll still respond. And it's a pleasure because most of them are extremely successful in their businesses. Some of them are market leaders and doing extremely well. And their stories, I believe, are inspiration for a lot of other people to follow. So I have a similar individual with me today, somebody whom I immensely admire, somebody's journey who has been fantastic, who's seen the challenges of life, but has been undeterred by the challenges and has always seen an opportunity in those challenges and has converted those opportunities into, success. And today is helping other people to learn from that and become successful. So welcome my dear friend, business coach, entrepreneur, and author Piyush Bhatia.
Thank you, Vipul.
Uh, I'll give you a quick introduction of Piyush. It's about 3 pages long, so please bear with me while I do that. So, Piyush is an entrepreneur, business coach, and a best-selling author with over 20 years' experience. He was the founder of BM English Speaking, a leading communication training institute that grew using systems and automation, and that's something that he also teaches. He worked at fantastic organizations. He's worked with JP Morgan and Merrill Lynch, where he learned the power of structured business operations. He transformed his own business from daily firefighting to autopilot mode, achieving three times growth while working even lesser, is what he says. He has helped dozens of business owners to streamline their operations, automate marketing, and scale profitably. He has personally coached entrepreneurs from manufacturing, service, healthcare, and family businesses to build self sustaining enterprises. He's passionate about helping business owners achieve time freedom, financial independence, and scalable growth. And while doing all this, he found time to write 2 books. His Get Your Dream Job, a book, his first book, which was admired by none other than Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Mr. Narayan Murthy. That says quite a lot about him. Other than that, while he was owning BM English, he has also written other books that have helped the students. So it's a privilege to have you on Business Networking with Vipul Bondal. And once again, I welcome you to this podcast, Piyush.
Thank you, Vipul, for this initiative. It's always pleasure to share my experience, and especially when your audience is are business owners and ambitious business owners who are looking at scaling up their businesses.
Absolutely. And, we are at that time in our nation where, we have millions and millions of new businesses being set up. People who we wouldn't have expected to get into business are getting into business. And it's good that, people like you who've traversed that journey are willing to share your experiences, help them in their growth journey, help them streamline operations, get their sales right and so on. So it's good to have people like you so that we can talk about what you've done. Incidentally, Piyush has also launched his second book only yesterday. So it's called Business Freedom Accelerator. I have a copy here, and I'm happy to say that I've managed to read it between the time Piyush gave it to me and uh, having him here on the podcast. It's a very quick read. It gives you a quick idea about how you can achieve time freedom, which I thought was extremely interesting as far as I'm concerned. There are other things which are interesting, but the time freedom part was the one that particularly I liked. So, congratulations on the launch of your second book, Piyush. So, can you walk us through why you wrote this book? What prompted you to write it? Who is it aimed for? And all of those things.
Vipul. So thank you once again. Vipul, so I come from a Kachchi Bhatia family where we had owned iron and steel business in Akola for years. And then coming to that, I worked for corporates for 12 years, Merrill Lynch and JP Morgan, where I've seen organized businesses. So those organized businesses, I've learned a lot from them, but parallelly, I must have read more than 500 books from Seven Habits uh, to Monk Who Sold His Ferrari to all versions of Rich Dad Poor Dad and Think and Grow Rich. And these books have taught me so much. They have reduced my learning curve, time of learning and making mistakes in businesses. So I've always admired that somebody who's gone through the journey, documented the learnings, and given it. I would never be able to meet Stephen Covey. I would never be able to meet Robert Kiyosaki and exactly learn from him the micro challenges, the macro challenges that he has faced. And that has always inspired me to document my learnings and share and book. A better way than publishing a book to do that. Moreover, as you said, whom it is aimed for. This is aimed to for especially for MSMEs. As a business coach, I have been helping a lot of ambitious business owners want to really
Right.
grow, and this is aimed to help them reduce their learning time and share
Right.
learn from my learnings.
So, you mentioned in your book that this book is largely influenced by your own experience as a business owner, when you ran your own institute and, the kind of challenges you faced, and something that all of us face. I mean, when you read the book, we are all familiar with, these kinds of challenges. We have to do everything on our own. Somebody doesn't turn up to work, we've got to fill up for that person's uh, absence and so on. And we are constantly firefighting, as you rightly said. So this has been your journey, which actually inspired you to write this book. So can you walk us through your own journey a little bit before we come to the other contents of the book?
Yeah, so Vipul, it's like this, as I said, I was part of a joint family business, or I was observing joint family business in Akola, and it
Right.
was growing left, right, and center from one factory to multiple factories to steel rolling mill to expanding in Mumbai. We're doing extremely well, but every vacations we used to go to a shop, and I would always see things were very mismanaged. Cash coming in the gala and somebody just picking up and just giving it to somebody else. No organized way of tracking pending expenses. No proper decision making. Chalte firte decision would be made, and that would really impact a lot. As a child, I would always, maybe as a child, personality who always feels like things should be organized. I
Right.
would feel really frustrated and sad, but I couldn't contribute much. Cut to the second phase of my life where I worked with Merrill Lynch, a super organized businesses, and I would
True.
say, wow, this is how things should be. Cut to that, because of my ambition, with a vision to train more than 1 crore Indians in English fluency. In
Right.
2004, I set up English Speaking Institute with the brand BM English. And there I realized that I and my sister Maya were again running a family-owned business. And after 5 to 7 years, I saw that even I'm into the same thing, troubleshooting, firefighting, not really well organized cash flows, solving, one problem that anybody else could solve, 55 employees, but, sir, udhar se hoarding nikal gaya, kya kare? This trainer has quit, you have to go and replace this trainer. And, course ka books are over, now what to do? and I was very frustrated. Then I got in touch with Neeraj Shah, who brought BNI in India, and he started a course of business coaching where he himself brought in his credentials, where he set up 500 BNI chapters in India. So I was the first participant or first student of his first batch called Titan Masterminds. There he taught us on how to systematize our business, one step at a time. And so that has been my journey. And what also happened is it was a 1 year course. And in
Mhm.
6 months, I was free. My revenues tripled. And I was free. And I asked Neeraj, what should I do now? He said, what is your dream? So I said, my dream is to, write a book. He said, okay, go ahead, write a book. I published a book which became Amazon bestseller, got a letter from Prime Minister Narendra Modi, got a letter from Narayan Murthy. Also, we got a call from Sachin Tendulkar's office.
Okay.
Yeah, so it sent it to a lot of celebrities and important people. So, and then I was free. And not only that, post lockdown, I personally did not want to run a brick and mortar business, but there was a team who was willing to take over that business. So, since
Okay.
the entire processes were documented, SOPs were in place, and also the culture to follow the SOPs was in place, I could very easily, swiftly hand over the business to another team who was willing and capable of taking over that business. So that has been
Okay.
my journey so far.
Wow. So you actually built the team, built the culture, built the SOPs, and made sure that your business was transitionable. So it kind of outlived you in that sense. I mean,
Right.
you're always obviously always there if they need any help, but they're running the business on their own now, right?
Yeah. As we say, no, Vipul, we say building a culture. I think it's a very heavy word, but I would say that inculcating the habits, a simple habit like daily reporting.
Right.
If I have 55 people working for me, and
Correct.
if they're sending me daily reports, I can understand to habituate them to send me daily reports itself is a task in itself, right? It may
Right.
take 1 month, 1 or 2 months to just get that habit in place. And
Right.
and forming such 100 habits creates a whole culture in itself, right? And that really smoothens and frees up the founder.
Correct. So, change is never easy. I mean, anything that we need to change causes difficulty because a lot of activities that we do in our business, even in our daily lives, it's all linked to each other, right? So, can you tell us some of the challenges and how you overcame those challenges while implementing or while inculcating some of these habits?
You are asking me my business secret, but yeah, one of the business secret is, and
You
I
can tell
wish,
me offline if you
yeah,
want.
no. I really wish the audience really would implement, all of them would implement on their own. The biggest business secret is weekly review meetings.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So having weekly review meetings with each department in place in a very structured format really has been the core of setting up the business on autopilot mode. Let me give you an example. So let's say we had a team of 22 trainers, teaching spoken English. We would do weekly review meetings to see that how was the performance of all their participants in the last month, and what are they planning, what new activities are they planning, what are the achievements of their participants. Somebody would get a fresher would get a job in Tata, somebody would get a job in Vistara Airlines, and somebody would fly abroad. Somebody would get a promotion where the salary would go 3 times. So
Right.
many breakthroughs were there, and they were not being documented because everybody was busy. So getting this weekly meeting in place for all departments, it may be account, it may be finance, it may be operations, customer service, sales, marketing, has been the core of freeing up time for me and helping me to look at what next in the terms of in case I want to take care of my hobbies, like if I want to play badminton at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I could go to badminton court and play badminton, or I want to travel abroad with my family and take care of, or scale up business and, expand through the franchisee route.
So weekly review meetings, you said is the key ingredient.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's interesting because even in BNI, our meetings are weekly. One of the reasons we do these meetings weekly is because we say that there's an accountability factor which comes in. You can always review what has happened in the last 1 week and look at what is going to happen in the next 1 week and so on. So on a weekly basis, we are kind of holding each other accountable. That's a fantastic secret you've revealed. Another point in your book, and I'm boasting and I'm bragging that I've read your book a little bit. Please
It's so
allow me.
nice of you. Really have to learn from you that you the kind of homework and efforts you put in to do this podcast.
This is about you, Piyush. So let's
Yeah,
talk about
yeah.
you today.
Great.
Okay, so one interesting thing that caught my eye and kind of caught my attention is this thing which you said is cost of doing everything yourself as an entrepreneur or as a business owner. Can you talk about that? Because one never really puts a thought to the cost that you pay directly or indirectly when doing everything yourself as an entrepreneur. So, no, please
I,
elaborate.
yeah, so I would share in the form of case study.
Sure.
Parth Dave is the founder of Maxim Concept Chairs,
Right.
and he's into bespoke, customized chair manufacturing.
Right.
Now, he was one of the first members of BNI to be my client as a business coach. Now, so he's excellent when it comes to sales and marketing, but
Right.
the entire onus was on him to do sales and marketing. So when we started weekly review meetings, what we realized that a lot of sales marketing tasks could be delegated to his immediate seniors, and just by reviewing, setting targets, and looking at what can be done and expanding a team, training the team, he could be free to look at acquiring bigger contracts, looking at where repeat customers can come in from, building relationships, and also he loves to go on long road trips. He loves to vacation a lot in Turkey and all. So he could find time for that. Look at
Right.
growth of business. So the cost, frankly, Vipul, cannot be seen in balance sheet. The opportunity loss
Mm.
cannot be seen in balance sheet. That
Right.
can, as Rich Dad Poor Dad very beautifully says,
Correct.
poor people see money with their eyes. कि मेरे बैंक में इतना पैसा है, that is what the money is. This money I have, this is what the money is. But rich people see money with their mind. And the kind of
Great.
opportunity that Parth has, or the total addressable market that you, I, and each entrepreneur has, is such huge market, and we're
Right.
not able to encash that because of being too busy in troubleshooting and firefighting. And Parth
Mm.
could easily do that, break over that, set up a team, train his team, and work on and get breakthroughs.
So, yeah, I mean, I've had a chat with Parth, and I've seen the vast difference in his approach. Let's say a couple of years back to versus that today. Yeah. So, there are some other systems and processes that you've spoken of, right? I mean, one of the obviously the most important thing is weekly review meeting, but then you said talked about systems and processes for other things. Would you want to talk about that? Let's say for sales and marketing or for cash flow and so on.
Yeah. So another that I would like to talk about is delegation. And here
Right.
I have a different case study, a unique case study, where I had clients called Dr. Mohan Raut and Mugdha Raut, and they are reproductive immunologists, and they had a very unique therapy for fertility treatment. It was patented, and they've been
Right.
my client for last 4+ years.
Right.
So now, how would a doctor delegate? They had their own hospital where pregnancies were taken care of. At the same time, they wanted to focus their attention on marketing and creating awareness about LIT therapy, as they call it.
Mm.
Now, what happened is when we started business coaching, I think we identified that one of the biggest challenge for subject matter expert is delegation. How would they delegate a skill of a doctor, of a physician? But what we did is, they did a lot of brainstorming, we did a lot of discussions, and we realized that they could actually delegate the entire hospital to an RMO, right?
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
and they identified actually, after a lot of discussions and brainstorming, we realized that they have a doctor who has been with them for last more than 2 decades.
Okay.
So they identified, they signed up a contract, and the entire business of running a hospital was delegated in the first year itself to to this doctor and the entire team. And then they could then focus on setting their marketing and sales on autopilot, which eventually meant that creating reels, doing a lot of social media content, going LinkedIn live, and doing so many other activities. So delegation, is possible for even subject matter expert. That was the learning for me as well as I've been working with this.
Fantastic. And I mean, one really associates things like these, medicine and so on. It's a skill which remains with the person and then passes on. But I didn't know you can actually uh, create SOPs around that. And well, that's an interesting case study that you have highlighted. You've also talked about automating sales and marketing efforts, and I'm from the sales and marketing side of things. That's of particular interest. So, uh, can you talk a little bit about how you can automate your sales and marketing? If you have any ideas for PR also, you can share them so I can benefit as a result.
Uh, so nice of you. So, working with ambitious business owners, I've realized that when it comes to, organizing sales and marketing, the first question here when I ask them is, what are your sales target? Do you
Right.
have your numbers in place? Most of them say their numbers are not there, not written anywhere, either electronically or in physical. So first of all, setting up targets. Also, then how do you set up targets, which I learned beautifully from Neeraj Shah, is how to set up targets. There's a technique called MAT technique, minimum, achievable, and dream target. So setting up the right targets such that they are not too fancy targets. At the same time, they are not very reasonable targets where it's just that you are achieving the same revenue or numbers. So that's one. Setting up targets. Then second is looking at what are my conversion rates, looking at how I can enhance, how I can get repeat business for my clients. Also, weekly review meetings where play a very important role in automating marketing and sales activities. Also, social media, when it comes to marketing, media plays a very important role. I'll just share a couple of examples. Dharmesh Jain is into Windows manufacturing,
Right.
mock-up Windows, and his brother Jay Jain. They have been my clients. Now, for them, they have organized a Windows manufacturing business, which is typically a brick and mortar business, and they wanted to market themselves and position themselves as a leading brand. So what we did for them is we said, okay, fine, good. We are setting up SOPs for basic supervision, inventory, accounts, and all. But at the
Right.
same time, for marketing, when we wanted to set their marketing on autopilot. One of the challenge that most business owners face is they don't have time to create content for social media.
Hmm.
So one of
Yeah.
the technique we used is creating content in batches. So once you create content in batches, you create content for at least 10 days at a stretch, sit on it for once, dedicate 3 to 4 hours, create all the content, check through everything, and schedule the content. So what remains is just replying to comments and replying to the kind of inquiries that one receives. So this technique of creating content in batches has helped. Also, reviewing constantly has been helping, and coming up with new ideas, which set yourself, your unique selling proposition. I think these are the things that help in automating our marketing.
So, Piyush, I'll take a couple of questions from which have come on the community. So there's a question from Meera Chavan, which I think is uh, pretty relevant at this point of time of the conversation. So Meera's question is, how can small businesses leverage automation without significant upfront investment in tech or resources? So what she means is, a company is already running in a certain way.
Yeah.
Investing in new technology or getting new people might not be possible for that business. So how does a company of that nature, you know, automate what they do, or how can they do that?
Yeah. So my experience of working with MSMEs is one of the major challenges they face is in sales and marketing.
Right,
One of the So if we can address that using very cost-effective tools, so there are do lead management and to improve the sales efficiencies. I think that is the first thing they should be focusing on.
right,
There are a lot of CRMs available in market which are very cost effective, extremely cost effective. So
right,
the founder should be start using that, because the moment it comes to using a CRM, the entire lead management gets documented. It's very easy. It's time saving to monitor them and be effective and increase the conversion rates. So once That is taken care of. Second is use of social media. Social media, all the platforms are free. So usage of social media also helps to increase the number of leads or footfalls that one wants to receive. Once that is set up in place, so that is tech itself. Using that tech, marketing and also sales monitoring. If the founder is not really good at sales,
Right.
every founder has its own personality. Is not good at sales or is very good at sales, can delegate and create a sales team and monitor and improve their performance. There are a lot of different ways in helping our sales team to improve their performance. It's not
Mm.
only sending them to expensive sales programs, but it's sitting
Right.
with them, doing role plays with them, identifying what are the sales objections that they are facing. I
Mm.
may find it very stupid or novice to deal with a small
Very
challenge
good.
that a client is facing,
Correct.
but my team will find it huge. Removing these bottlenecks, helping them train and work with them on improving the conversion ratios. So all that, all in all, doing that sales and marketing, revenues will start flowing in, and then go for any additional investment that is there.
Interesting. So, initially, of course, it obviously means a lot of time
Yeah.
needs to be invested by the entrepreneur to develop these sales and marketing or all of these habits. Right?
Yeah, Vipul, we need to find time to automate our business so we have time freedom.
Correct. I agree with you. Investment of time is very important.
Right.
Okay, so another question which has come in from Siddharth Gupta.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's again relevant in the kind of discussion that we're having right now. So Siddharth's question is, how do you prioritize which areas of your business to automate for the most effective growth?
Okay. So first of all, I think the founder should look at what my business is,
Right.
what is my USP, and where are the revenues coming from. Ideally, I would always recommend founders to focus on income producing activities and not focus on non-income producing activities. So,
Right.
for example, I have another glass manufacturer as my client,
Mhm.
and so he's excellent when it comes to glass manufacturing, delivering, and all. But
Right.
I shifted his focus in 2.5 months from non-income producing activities, which is delivering the goods once it is done. So delegate that entire thing, create a system process, create SOPs so that he can focus more. And so I recommended him not to sit in office for more than 2 hours every day and
Okay.
keep on meeting potential clients. Like in BNI, we do one-to-ones, meet potential clients, network with people, attend conferences, attend exhibitions, build relationships such that business can keep flowing in.
Okay. Interesting. So you actually also help in figuring out, where what is helping them, what is not helping them, and then maybe prioritize which one needs to be automated or put onto autopilot and so on.
Yes.
Okay. And there's another question from Rashi K. So
Okay.
I'll ask you that question. The question from Rashi is, can a business fully run on autopilot, or are there areas that always need personal attention? I mean,
If
having
you
put your business on autopilot, you're the best guy to answer.
so my answer is yes and yes.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So mine was a services business, right? Now, services business putting on autopilot is a task in itself. When it's the product business, you can have SOPs for all assembly lines and all team members. But my answer is a loud yes. But it depends on how committed the owner is. There are, of course, a lot of challenges. Like there might be attrition rate, there might be issues of trust, there might be issues. So a lot of different issues would be there. So you see, Vipul, tell me of one business which a large corporate is not doing. We can look at case studies like Ola. We can look at case studies like Amazon. They all have hundreds and hundreds of issues, but they've really automated the entire businesses. They're really working with the challenges at the ground level and operating. But if you could ask Rashi what business she is into, or specifically if we could discuss
Sure.
yeah, yeah.
So we can do that. Yes. Okay. So you've helped a lot of young business owners, to automate their business, autopilot their business, build scale, you know, in your journey in the last 4 5 years, ever since you've become a business coach. So can you walk me through one or two of your favorite uh, case studies, because that will kind of give us a flavor of, and I mean, choose maybe two different industries, or one services business versus one manufacturing or something like that, to give us a little flavor of how you engage with them.
Yeah. So there's a chandelier manufacturer who is kind of a startup. He's again a
Right.
member of our chapter in BNI, Pinto Chaurasia. Now, now his challenge was that how do I, it's just a startup, how do I get my business? So
Right.
we sat across and we first finalized, okay, now what is the kind of target that he wants to work on? So he said, okay, the way I want to work on is I want to generate, let's say, 1 lakh of profit a month. So we did reverse engineering and we said, okay, for 1 lakh, how many leads you need to? So what is your average customer, value? So he says, okay, average customer value is, let's say, 25,000. How many customers would you need in a month? He says, four. For that, what is the conversion rate do you have? So we work backwards and we realize that he may need around, 60 to 70 leads. For 60 to 70 leads, how many gate crashings he has to do or how many leads he has to identify. And we did that. We planned the program, and in 6 months' time, he's done revenues of more than 14 lakhs. He's got
Okay.
five-star hotel as clients. He's got clients who are large marriage banquet halls, and he's got a builder where he's done a chandelier worth 9 lakh rupees. So all that he could crack because we did reverse engineering. Now that is only first step to set our business on autopilot.
Right.
Because he's gone through the entire process and he's documented each step. Generally, as you see, Vipul, startups don't have any mentor as such to guide them. But just because he was following the guidance that I've been giving, so he has a Google Doc in place where he's writing down weekly what he's doing, what kind of leads are generating, he's following up with them. Again, he doesn't need a fancy CRM to do that. A Google Sheet is enough.
Right.
So he's doing that, and just by as again it is said, what gets measured gets achieved.
Right.
So because he has been measuring, that has helped. Now what he has to do is he has to create a duplicate salesperson for himself. Now
Right.
he has to identify. So we'll create a job description of the salesperson that he wants, and the job description will include the kind of task he has been doing, and then he can multiply his sales team, create a sales team, train them, develop them, and that's how we can scale up and grow.
Fantastic. I mean, that's a very, very inspiring. In fact, Pintu's case is really something worth admiring, because, given the background he comes from, and, the kind of work he is into, it's amazing how he has scaled up his business, set up his own manufacturing, and,
And I also want to share with you, you said regarding services, let me share a little bit more about my services
sure,
business.
sure.
Now, when it comes to services, you see that services are not tangible.
Right.
And one incident really that shook me, that at our English speaking institute, one of the parent came and said, 2 months have passed. I don't know what you taught to my children, what to my child who's coming regularly for 2 months. So, and that complaint came to me because we had a whole feedback system in place. My training manager would give me a feedback of all 500 learners were participating. That was really a shocking moment. And we said, okay, yes, what the parent is saying is correct. Then we realized there are a lot of corporates who are also sponsoring their participants to learn English at our center, and they all would be having the same question. So we brainstormed with our trainers team. We realized that we need to make each session tangible, and
Right.
we revamped all our course book, 10 course books, where what is happening in each session was being documented, evaluated, and we trained our team members to do that. Now, people, what actually happened is now our business became tangible. Now, if I give the same manual to my franchisee owners, to anybody who wants to run this business, right, and follows the process that is there, just like we have a BNI Connect in place in BNI, a tracking system is there, accountability system is there. So anybody who can see that what is written, so knows that the trainer is at fault, the participant is at fault, the participant has not been regular, or the trainer has not been correcting the mistakes, then accountability is there. Now, this is how this one aspect which helped my entire service uh, to be to be upgraded to the really next level. None of the institute, I mean, sure in India is tracking what's happening in each session
Right.
of an English speaking course. So that so once you make the services tangible, publish books, create podcasts, create video lessons, all that is tangible, and that can be run on autopilot mode.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So, we'll come to I mean, the podcast is called Business Networking. And you've been a networker yourself for many, many years now. You've been an active networker, a structured networker. So can you walk us through your own journey as a business networker?
Yeah, Vipul. So we are actually business network of friends as well, right? For
Absolutely.
almost kind of a decade. So being a member of BNI is a privilege because what you see is one of the most active and ambitious business owners coming, and it's not easy to come to BNI week after week for maybe 7, 7, 8, 10 years, right? This requires commitment to growing our own business and talking about our business and networking. So BNI is a great platform. At the same time, it's been a great learning where you get to understand various kinds of businesses that exist, different kind of challenges that they face. How do you build rapport with different kinds of people? As a business owner, if I'm a business owner running my any manufacturing or product or services business, I hardly get to meet other business owners. It
Correct.
is said that a business owner spends 90-95% of time with their employees. And as
Right.
it is said that, the five people you spend time with is what you are actually. So here what you get is an opportunity to spend, invest your time and networking and meeting other fellow entrepreneurs, also tap into their resources. It's not just about networking where generating
Correct.
leads, but tapping into their resources in the form of contacts, at a personal level, at a social level, tap into the contacts. It's been a great experience.
And plus, you had the opportunity to serve the chapter in the leadership team. So you gave a lot of your time, I remember, to lead the chapter at particularly at the time that we were online and then we moved offline. That was the time. So I'm sure that had its own challenges as a leader. So can you tell us a little bit about how that stint helped you? I mean, and help you in your business?
So, first of all, I am always super excited about BNI because BNI itself runs on autopilot
Correct.
mode. Yeah. And since the systems were in place, the culture, and we were very familiar with the culture. So Shreya Parth and I were assigned the role of a leadership team. And thanks for, reminding me for that. So it has been a great experience being in leadership team. There were 120 members at that point of time, and taking the transition from an online where everybody got comfortable in 2 years to an offline to convince the entire chapter that we are let's get back offline was one major task, and then there were other major tasks where different challenges that were there. Now, the major three learnings I would like to share. One is how you can be accommodative. Being on leadership table, I think you've also been once on a leadership table. So being on leadership table is exactly being on the other side in the room and looking at the chapter from a very different perspective. So one thing that I majorly learned is how you can be accommodative and include everybody's opinion and still move ahead. That's one. Second is, how does the chapter function? The way I function in my business is exactly the way I function in BNI. But at the same time, way I function in BNI is also impacts the way I function in my business. So
Right.
setting targets, setting business goals, reviewing the business goals is second thing that was a great learning. And third was that if you are really helpful to the chapter, givers gain as is the philosophy of BNI. If you give, you don't know from where will you receive, right? So that has been really, we could live that principle from the time into the leadership team till now. So that's really been the three top learnings.
I remember a particular time you had some challenge. I don't remember recall what that challenge was, but you made sure you came in for the business meeting in spite of being having that challenge. I don't remember. Maybe it's a medical challenge or something like that. But you
My
still
wife,
had come in and you had held the meeting. None of us knew that you were going through that, and you still conducted the meeting. That was one thing I remember. And second thing I remember is that I think you were always the first to arrive, if I'm not wrong. The
thanks
entire
for
time for that little time that we moved offline, you used to be the first one to arrive in the meeting.
thanks for noticing that. So first is there, yes, my wife was admitted to the hospital for 5 times.
Wow.
And since we've taken up leadership role, I think it was our duty to make sure that we lead by example. And yeah, there were challenges, to stay with her at the hospital, at the same time manage the work. And our team also did a great job in helping me to smoothen my work. And also, but it was a privilege, I think, so to work in the leadership team, and I didn't want to lose that opportunity to serve the chapter. Yeah, so it has its own, satisfaction of working for the chapter.
And you started something very interesting, which I mean, I had the opportunity to help you with, was to appreciate the small things that people do.
Yeah,
We appreciate the big things, but
right.
you had called me appreciation guide or something like that.
Yeah,
We'd call that, and we used to appreciate the little things that people do to help each other, and we had run that program. If you recall.
yeah. So as a stats coordinator, right? As a stats coordinator, also, we've been sitting together in a lot of BNI meetings, I recall. So being a stats coordinator, help also identifying what. So in one of the rule of networking is to build rapport, build relationships. And, if you genuinely feel something good about a person, you notice that the person is dressed well, or, has been on time, like you notice that I've come before time. So noticing that and communicating, the expressing that helps a lot. That's what I've learned from you, and that's really helped to build relationships.
Great. So, Piyush, what next? I mean, I know, are you already started working on your third book? I mean, what's next for you? With you, there's something always happening. So, one, can you tell us what you're going to do immediately? And also, I mean, I'm sure you plan ahead. You look at, what uh, goals you have for the next 5, 10, 15 years. So, can you just give us a flavor of what's next for you?
Yeah. So my big hairy audacious goal is to set up an ed tech platform
Okay.
where something like on the lines of Mind Valley, where entrepreneurs get opportunities to learn from each other. So that is a very huge goal when it comes to, let's say, next 15 years. And I have set up a target for myself that before I pass away, I help 10,000 business owners to set their business on autopilot mode.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that is equal to 10,000 families experiencing abundance, not only 10,000, plus all their employees experiencing abundance in time, money, health, all that.
And knowing you, I'm sure you've already moved down that line quite a bit ahead because you never always talk about things before it's done. You always talk about it once you moved a few steps inside towards your goal. So, wishing you all the very best.
Thank
I wish your book all the success.
you.
And I shall be now sharing the link to your book, Business Freedom Accelerator, on the community. So, on that note, Piyush, thanks for sparing the time and sharing your thoughts and making yourself available and being so open with your
Thank you.
thoughts and perspectives. Thank you.
Thank you, Vipul. It's always been a pleasure interacting with you. Yeah, thank you.